everybody, it's Michelle and I've got another Christmas punch art project, and you guys are not going to believe how simple this is. We're going to be making Christmas wreaths, and I want to maybe later on do some more complex punched wreaths, but today I'm going to show you guys the simple version that absolutely could not be easier. So I just chose some patterned papers in greens that I liked, and then I also have a little scrap of a solid green and some more of that color that I went ahead and embossed. This one I embossed and then did some ink dragging over that with my white picket fence distress ink. You guys may remember I did that on this same color cardstock in a snowflake pattern when I did my punch art Christmas trees. So same technique, I just went with a little lighter hand on that and did that in a swirl pattern, and that's an embossing folder from Sizzix. And then I have another piece here that I didn't do any ink dragging on, I just texturized it with an embossing folder, and that was my Miss Sparkle and Company embossing folder that was sprinkles, and I thought that may give a little bit of a branchy look like pine needles or something, so I thought that would be really fun to try for wreaths. So we've got our collection of greens here, and one more punch that I forgot actually. So we're going to be doing this all with punches, and you guys know that I like to do the punch art technique with dies as well, and you definitely can do that. If you've got scalloped circle dies, then go for it. That would be so beautiful, and you could accomplish much larger ones probably than what we've got just in the punches. I am going to show you a few sizes though, and then we're going to embellish our wreaths with some bows that I made with that same die set that I used for the bow on my teddy bear on this Christmas card here. So I'm having a lot of fun with those bow dies, and I've also got a little bow punch that we're going to use on some of the smaller ones. The first thing I'm going to do is show you the larger one, and I'm going to do several, and you guys, they go together so quickly that you can do several in no time. These would be great to add to maybe some homemade gift tags or something for your packages, and you could just crank out so many in no time. So for my larger size, I'm going to be using a 1-inch scallop circle and a 2-inch scallop circle. I'm going to do my smaller one first, and I'll show you why. I'm going to put that all the way in as far as I can get it into my paper there and punch that out. And then I'm going to bring back in my 2-inch. I'm going to go ahead and open that so I can see through to my paper. Now I can see to line up and make sure that I get that centered just exactly the way I want it, and punch that out. And just that simple, you've got your little wreath. I think that is so cute. Those little scalloped edges are just enough to give it that fluffy, wreathy kind of look, I guess. So I'm going to do a few of these. And I've got my little holly paper here that I think is so pretty. And I definitely wanted to do one in that holly paper. That's so Christmassy. And like I said, I'm going to do a bunch of these. And I always save these little punches for something later on. So really the key here is just to make sure that you punch the smaller circle first so that you've got something good to go by, that you can see through there and see that when you punch the larger one. If you punch the larger one first and then you have to feed that into your small punch, you wouldn't be able to see all of your edges as well. Okay, I think I want to use one of my textured papers. I'm going to go ahead and use this swirl pattern here. And again, I'm going as far into the paper as I can. That way I know this cut is far enough in that I've got plenty of room around it to get my other punch on there. And I think that one is so pretty, you guys. I love that. You could also use the debossed side if you wanted to do that. That would be pretty as well. Okay, so there are our large ones. And I wanted to show you guys that you can do them smaller as well. I've got a tiny little 3/8 punch here. And I'm going to punch that. And again, I'm putting my cardstock all the way into the punch. And on this tiny one, I'm going to use my larger one is a 3/4 inch. So when I line this up just perfectly, it's going to cut off a little bit here. We're going to have a flat edge because if I go in far enough to do that, then I'm going to bypass my one here because it didn't really go in quite far enough. So we're just going to have a little bit of a flat edge. And we'll just make sure that that's the side we put our bow on and no one will ever know. So look at that, you guys. How cute is that? I'm going to go ahead and put my flat side up to the top so I'll remember. And now I'm going to use my sprinkle texture pattern. So for that, I've got a 5/8 inch scallop circle, or it looks more like maybe a rounded flower shape. But it works too. So I'm going to put that all the way into my punch and punch that out. And for this, I'm going to use my 1 inch as my outer one. That is so cute, you guys. On the small one though, we didn't get a whole lot of that texture. So I'm going to go ahead and do a larger one as well. Because I really like that sprinkle texture. I think that's going to make a nice wreath. So I could punch wreaths all day, but I want to start embellishing them a little bit. And I'm just going to use one of my tiny foam squares on the back of every bow. Oh, and I almost forgot about bows for my small ones here. I'm going to punch out one in my adhesive backed glitter fun foam in red, one in my vintage pattern, and I think I'll go ahead and flip that vintage pattern over and use that lighter side. And I'm going to put a foam square on those two. Actually, I think half of one will do it on those tiny little bows. I'm still wishing that I had some little 1/8 inch glue dots. I need to get to the store and get me some of those. So now before I stick anything down, I want to decide which bows are going to go on which ones. Okay, so I had to pull in another bow, and I had one I had already made with that fun striped paper, and I switched out my lighter bow here for another red glitter. And now we can start putting our bows on. Okay, now on my tiny one, I want to make sure that I'm covering up my flat spot. And I think I'm going to need my tweezers with these tiny ones. And now for my sprinkle pattern. And this one has the adhesive foam. to unsticky what's showing of that. We're just going to go over that with our anti-static powder tool, and we'll get a fine coating of that powder on the back of that sticker so what's sticking out there won't be sticky anymore. So that's it, you guys. It's just that quick and easy to make a simple Christmas wreath for your cards and tags, and I could make these all day. They take absolutely no time and I just love them. So you guys leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me a like over on my Facebook page, and be sure to join our Facebook group, Crafty Minds. Also follow me on Pinterest and Instagram, and don't forget to visit my blog. I'll have the links to everything in the description below, so be sure and check them out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.